That's
And
awesome.
so does the honesty, because when you know the greatest comedians that ever lived died in so much pain because they couldn't experience their own gift inwardly. That's
Wow.
Richard Pryor.
Right, right, right,
He couldn't experience that inwardly. That's Robin Williams.
right, right.
They couldn't experience. I'm gonna give it all to you, but I can't. I didn't want that to be my story. I don't want that to be my story. As much as y'all laugh, God damn it, do you know I'll be up in my closet laughing my ass off by my goddamn self? I'll be goddamn. I'm enjoying this gift too. Oh, baby, I know my kids be like, is mommy crazy? Nigga, probably, but that's a whole nother conversation.
That's what's up.
Laughing at yourself or laughing at things that you remember or
Oh my God. I laugh at myself. I laugh at things I remember. I laugh at conversations because if I had a conversation at 25, that conversation is now different at 53.
Right,
So
right.
now I'm talking to 53 and 25 is in that closet talking, baby. Oh, we going back and forth. So it's wonderful to be free.
Well, I gotta ask, since you own that in that vein, so to speak, and almost retrospectively talking. Um, is there anything looking back that you could say I would have done that differently? Besides the moments that you spoke of clearly, you spoke about the relationship between your son. Is there anything in the industry, or I mean, because um, I'm gonna say this, and I don't mean I don't want to make it seem like I got an opinion of it, because I really don't. I really don't. After the 2009 there were a lot of people I felt pointing the finger, trying to do some labeling, and you even had the conversation with Steve Harvey, and that to me got demonstralized. It was almost like uh, she's the big bad wolf. You know what I'm saying, so to speak. And I was just saying, if you had to look back and say, um, I didn't tell the academy, screw you. You know what I'm saying? I didn't. I mean, if you had to look back on it and say, well, what would I do? Would I do anything different?
if anything.
If anything, and maybe the answer is I do it all the same. But I just wanted to.
That's a beautiful question.
Yes, man. That's what's up.
I did nothing wrong.
That's what's up.
That's why I would do nothing different. People have asked me in reference to that, weren't you scared? Like, that's Steve Harvey, that's Tyler Perry, that's Oprah Winfrey, like that's Lee Daniels. It's like, listen, y'all, I wouldn't give a damn if it was Jesus.
Yeah.
If you wrong, nigga, go get your father.
Right.
Go get God, nigga,
Right.
because right is right and wrong is wrong. And I think that we've gotten so conditioned to know our place, stay in line, get in order, and just don't make no noise. Well, when you know the history of us, see, I made it my business to know the history of us. I made it my business to read Hattie McDaniel's story.
That was gonna be something I pointed out, because you wore the white carnation in respect to her, so I wanted you to say
Yes.
why. Why? Yeah.
See, because she did everything right, and she still died broke, and she still died alone, and she still died unhealthy. And she did everything right. I'm gonna show up for my black groups, and I'm gonna give y'all my services for free. And I'm gonna show up for the white groups because y'all want me to play this maid and this mammy, but the money you paying me, I wouldn't ever make that being a maid. You're not giving me any roles for me to play a lawyer or a doctor or a detective. These are the roles that are afforded to me right now. And I know if I take this shit right now, the little girl that comes 100 years after me, maybe she'll be able to walk through the door differently. See, I know her story. That's why I wouldn't do anything different. I know Eartha Kitt's story when she simply said, how do you make it better for my people? I don't know of the black women that stood around her. I don't know of the black men that stood around her. I'm not saying they didn't, I just don't know of them. See, when I read Fannie Lou Hamer's story,
Yes.
I
Mississippi
don't
hero.
know
Yeah.
of the piles of black women that got around that black woman and said, we will stand together. I don't know about the black men that did it. When I read Georgia Gilmore's story, And that's a name very few people know, but Georgia Gilmore is responsible for the bus boycott being able to continue. Because what that Black woman did was went around to the beauty salons and the barbershops. And she said, I'm selling dinners, cakes, pies, and cookies. We got to pay for the gas and the insurance to make sure our folks don't have to catch the bus. But most of us have no idea who she is. See, I had to read those stories. I had to read the stories of all the sisters that came before me that experienced the injustice and did it the right way, but was too afraid to say it out loud. I know Shirley Hemphill's story, who played on What's Happening. That Black woman came to my elementary school when I was in the 3rd grade. I'm in the 3rd grade. And she sat in front of a gym full of mainly white kids. But for some reason, she looked at this little fat Black girl and she said, don't you know you can be anything you want to be? So to know that that woman died in a one-room fucking room, and all this shit, I know their story. So when you say to me, could I have done it differently? I wish I'd have been louder. I wish I would have been even louder, because I'm not going to stop. But because of all the sisters that came before me, and they said, well, if I say something, and then the ones that said it, see, they didn't have a husband that was going to stand with them. They didn't have children that was going to stand with them. My children look at me and their daddy and say, I'm proud of y'all. And when I tell you my family took a financial hit, please hear me. We took a hit. But when my children look at their mommy and daddy and say, I'm proud of you. See, when my son, who's getting ready to graduate, says, listen, the kids was trying to tease me in school because I ain't have the latest and the sharpest. And I had to tell them who my mother was, baby. So would I do it differently? Would my sister Whitney Houston say, hell to the no, to the no. Whitney,